Thanks so much for joining me, man. I really appreciate you making the time. Um, Basically, we want to talk about Baron Bowl. That's why we're here. That's, I'm sure, why people are listening. But I want to get to know a little bit about you as well, man. So, how long have you been in the Web3 NFT space, and like what brought you here, and like what's kind of like your story to this point?
Yeah, thanks for having me here today, man. I really, appreciate the opportunity, and it's always fun to get with somebody and talk about the community and the project. For myself personally, I got in last January. Just kind of was watching some people change their profile pictures to, lazy lions and different things, and I was like, well, those look pretty cool. I'm gonna go check that stuff out. Excuse me. After, I don't know, I'd say a couple of weeks, I bought into a project and wasn't like super good project. It was doing a little bit of stuff, but nothing like the projects around it was. So I hung out for a little bit, but it ended up being a rug. So after that, I went and bought a few more projects, a couple of good ones, a couple of bad ones. But through the process, I met a man named Benny, and he was an artist on the side, and he was sending me sketches and different things. He's like, "Man, it'd be cool to have a project one day." And I was like, "Well, like, why don't you?" He's like, "I don't really have a team. I don't have, any support or anything like that." So I was like, "Well, if you get some art you like, dude, like, I'll help you run it out." And he had another friend, Rachel, who was pretty tight with him, and he would kind of do the same thing, send her sketches and all that. So once he had a piece of art that he liked, he sent it to us, and he's like, "Hey, like, what do you guys think? Would you like to make a project out of this?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude, I'm in." And things went really well for like, I don't know, I'd say 4 or 5 months. Like, we had a mint and it went really well. We had a really good community. Our Twitter was at like 15K twice because we got bopped once. We went out to LA and did a podcast, and like we were doing really really well. And then he had some in real life stuff go on, and I think ultimately decided the artist thing was too much, so he rugged the whole project. And after that, I didn't really know what to do in the space after that. There was a lot of kind of hard talk on my name. They're like, "Well, you rugged us," and I was like, "Well, Rachel and I did everything we could to keep the project going, but at the end of the day, we don't own the art, we don't own the contracts. He wasn't willing to work with us on getting those things, so we just kind of had to let it go." So yeah, I took a little bit of a break after that. Did my own IRL stuff, and then when I came back, I got into like the Fat Rat Mafia and a few other projects, Lazy Lion Cubs, and I ended up getting scammed actually for my cub and a few other things, and that's how I met crypto. So that's kind of been my journey so far.
Cool. That's sick, man. Yeah, like it's funny the amount of people in this space who are super talented and they have great ideas. And yeah, you'll meet so many people who are like, "Oh, I wish I could have a project. I wish I could do that." And like, I think people don't realize how easy it is now to, like, especially on the NFT side, but like there's so many tools out there that make it possible for someone. You don't have to really know the coding side or the contract side now to make a project. Same thing with, even with, like, a token based project. There's a lot of great tools out there now for it. And it's just go for it. And it's unfortunate that that turned out the way it did. But I think in a weird way, getting rugged into space is kind of like the badge of honor that everybody wears. It happens a few times too early, and then you kind of learn those lessons, and you know what to look for in the future, moving forward. And yeah, I think, man, that's such a good approach to just kind of take some time and then come back, because so many people just want to, like, keep moving forward, and it's you have to process stuff like that, especially because this is obviously someone you spent a lot of time with, you invested in that relationship and building a project with them. And yeah, that sucks when that happens. But there's people behind all these PFPs, right? Real people with real problems and real life going on. So you never really know. You're only seeing one part of people's life, I think, on Twitter and in this space. But yeah, I think a lot of us, Crypto Equip is obviously the founder of Bear and Bull, and I think a lot of us, found him in different ways and just were like blown away by his generosity. And, in a world where we see so many accounts with supposed giveaways, right? But you almost never see anyone follow through. Like I've seen, I've been in the space for a few years now, and, endless tweets about people giving away stuff. And I feel like I never actually saw a winner or saw a transaction or anything, right? And this guy's been giving away ETH. He's been giving away NFTs. He's just been doing just nice things for like seemingly random people in the community. Way before he even had his own community, and he's just been super legit. And for me, I met him through. I was trying to grow my account a little bit, and we just started talking. I just took a shot and just DM'd him because he followed me back after a little while of kind of commenting on his stuff. And I just started kind of asking him some questions, and he just like made himself totally available to me, answered my questions, was like super helpful. He's like, if you want me to like retweet something or you have something going on, just let me know. Like I want to help out. And like, it's rare that you just meet like a random stranger, especially in this space where there's like a ton of scammers and a ton of people who are just out for themselves, who's just like willing to help. Right. And that blew me away.
Oh yeah, absolutely. One, it's kind of like you said, the rug thing is kind of what brings us all together. I think that's what we all relate on, and makes us all kind of vibe with each other. It's like we all have fairly similar journeys. We've hit a rug once or twice or three times, and I think crypto understands that too. He understands how hard the space can be on people and how much time they spend here. And I think when he sees somebody that's like really genuine and he knows that they're moving kindly and like, just really trying to do something more for the space, I think he's so inclined to help those people because he understands, the adversity a lot of these people have faced in the space and face it in real life. And it's wild how many stories I hear every day about him changing people's lives and helping them pay in real life bills. Not just giving them NFTs, giving them ETH that they turn into cash and go do in real life stuff with. So it's cool. It's not just people in the Baron Bowl community that started long before the Baron Bowl community. And like you said, there's always the ether scans. There's always proof. There's always messages back and forth between him and the winner. So it's just really refreshing to see, man. You don't see that a lot in the space. There's a lot of scamming going on, a lot of just kind of dirty stuff, and it's nice to see somebody out here trying to clean some of that up.
Yeah, for sure. And the sad thing is, as your account grows, the more random DMs you get of people trying to like scam you or get you to click links and stuff grows as well, which is crazy. So it's funny, like he really helped me. He ran a contest and helped me kind of grow my audience a little bit and get my account off the ground for the podcast. And suddenly I had like so many like random messages from people, these like sketchy looking accounts, just like trying to, oh, I want to give you the whitelist or I want to give you ETH or whatever. And they're sending you links and stuff. And like, oh man, it's a wild place, right? Even sometimes for someone who's been around a while, you got to be careful, who you're talking to and what you're clicking. And, um, it can definitely you can be one click away from just like losing everything in your wallet, which is really a shitty feeling. And I had a drain at one point really early on. Thankfully I didn't have much, but that taught me that like you gotta be super careful what you're signing and what you're clicking and where you're going and what's a real OpenSea page and what's not. So I think everyone's kind of felt that. And it's sick that he kind of managed to find 20 of us to make up this DAO 1 group for Baron Bowl. And there's just a really diverse group of people in there, but like great energy. Everybody's trying to bring a different skill set to the table and just help run the project and get the community hyped. And it's really cool that although crypto's the founder, he's really just trying to use it as a platform to like lift other people up to like what they're capable of doing, right? And I think we feel that in those conversations we have with them. And he's just genuinely super hyped about anything new, like some of these like music videos and stuff he's doing. Like I had no idea that we were going to be making that type of stuff, right? Like that's been crazy to see some of this stuff every day. He's got like something new, right? It's crazy.
Oh yeah, when I first got into this thing, I had no idea it was going to move at this speed, and just have the amount of content and stuff. As DAO, it's pretty hard to keep up some days, and that's part of what I love about it. Like we could be part of the team, and he could tell us every in and out. Just let us know it all, but he really doesn't even do that for us. he keeps it fun for us and keeps us kind of guessing and wondering, and keeps it all a mystery. And it's just cool, man. I say this all the time when I'm talking about the project. It's like one of those social experiments, man. Like he really just kind of put us all together and said, you guys have different skill sets and different strengths, and you guys have to come together and figure out how to make this thing work. Because in the very beginning, it really was only 15 and 20 of us that were really pushing this thing forward. Now we have an incredible community, but in the very beginning, it was just us, and it took some quick working together and kind of figuring each other out to really make it work. And I think the whole team responded beautifully. I think everyone feels really honored to be here, and they're excited, and they bring a lot of passion. And like you said, everyone's got their own unique skill set, and they bring a lot to the team. We've got like the cybersecurity stuff. I think that alone is such a big utility to a community. Like, I don't go into very many communities where they have multiple cybersecurity classes every week, and people that really care in the community about you keeping your asset, because it just shows how much it means to us as DAO that you have those assets. And then on the flip side, it shows us from the community when they show up to the classes how much the assets mean to them.
Yeah, and like even just the collection itself, right? Like so we have now the bear, it's been released, right? We have our 333 piece collection. Like it speaks for itself. Like we have a point 0.3 floor, we have offers at about point 0.2 right now. There's only 22 listed. Like that's a crazy hold rate on something that, right now NFT liquidity is like at an all-time low. Like everyone's in Pepe meme coins, right? And like it's crazy. Like people are holding because they're seeing the benefit, right? It's not like it is really sick art. And I love just even looking at the art on some of these. It's like it's cool. I just sometimes just scroll through and try to find different ones I haven't seen before. But like it's also like the community and the benefits have been crazy. Like we're giving away ETH, we're giving away like alien friend NFTs that are worth like almost point 0.2 like on a daily basis, right? And just for holding, like it's crazy, right? Like it's like every day we find out about something new that we're getting the benefit from as holders of these passes. And like I'm stoked like now seeing some of the bull art, right? Like I'm hyped to see what I mint when that comes out, right? And I think it's gonna be a mad dash to try and mint one of those because it's a small collection again, and people are seeing what's going on with the community with the bears so far. And I'm just excited. Like I love AI Anarchy's art too, right? Like he's done some really cool stuff even outside of our project. Have you ever like linked up with him before the project, or did you find out about him through the project? Or
Yeah, I met him through the project, but we hit it off really quick, man. He's a really talented guy. He's a very nice dude. He just kind of represents the project well as the artist, and he works hard. His art speaks for itself. Like that's I think it's proven when we had that big secondary event, and only so many people listed their bears. We had so many people hold on, and they were getting offers for quite a bit. And I think a lot of it just comes from people being very loyal to the project, to AI as an artist, because he's got other projects coming out, the AI Hounds and a few different things, and people are super excited for that. But yeah, this is actually where I met him, but I feel blessed to know him now, man. That dude is so talented and just a really genuinely kind and good-hearted dude.
yeah, like honestly, the biggest thing I found from this project is it's been a wealth of really like just good people to make connections with. And like he just shot me a message one night and he's like, hey, what do you think of this? And he had like an AI like anarchy kind of like take on my Lazy Lion PFP, and it was like super sick. And I was like, man, like I didn't even like know he was doing this, right? And it's just like it's so hyped. Like you tell like when someone just loves what they're doing, and like it shows in the art, right? Like um it's super important, right? There's nothing worse than artists that are just kind of phoning it in. And he's stoked to do this stuff, and he's always working on it, and he's always sharing little like sneak peeks. And he was showing us some of the AI hounds and stuff like that early on. And so that's I think we're super fortunate to have an artist like that on board who's like really here for the right reasons as well, right?
Well, yeah, I like you just said, I think he's here for all the right reasons. He just wants to make a splash in the space and be here to stay. And just give a good name to himself and to his art and what he does. And I think you can tell he spends a lot of time working on stuff for people on the side, and a lot of the time he's not even getting commissioned. He's doing it just for free, just because he, again, wants to get the name out there, wants to show people what he can do, and he's just kind. He sees somebody's like, wow, man, I really like what you made for Goof or what you made for Tuck or whatever, and he's like, well, send me yours, I'll make yours too. And it's just cool, dude. It's everybody on the team is so kind and so generous and just wants to see everybody else win, and that's, I don't know. It's cool that it all came together this way, because it didn't have to. It could have gone a totally different direction. They could have brought a bunch of us together, and it didn't work out at all. But it's worked out so well so far. And I'm, like I said, man, I'm honored to be here. I think AI is the art. Like I wasn't super into AI art before I met AI anarchists and like the projects and stuff. So it's done worlds for me.
Yeah, it's just like it's so complex and it's got so much going on, and it really shows what you can do with that technology if you really do approach it like an artist and not just like someone who's expecting the tech to do all the work, right? Like I think what people don't realize is crafting those prompts is actually an art on its own, right? And I have a few friends in the space now who are really great artists, and creating amazing stuff, and people don't realize that like there's a ton of work that goes into that. It's not like they're just saying they're getting lucky every time or whatever, right? Because you're seeing these results time and time again. um I'm excited to see, like, we don't really know what phase two is going to look like, right? So we kind of got a preview a bit on the bowl, and we know that's coming up May 4th. So anyone obviously listening to this, when this gets released, they have some time to plan for that. And there's going to be another mint of the bull, and then we have phase two coming up after that, and phase three is even more mysterious. And it's like it's kind of cool, like we're being led down this journey, and we don't really know. And I think that partially my hunch is that like crypto kind of has an idea, but he's also sort of like figuring it out as he goes along too. So I'm curious to see what he's got coming up for us in those other phases.
Yeah, I'm super curious. Like we've got like you said, we've got phase two coming out. We're not sure exactly what that's going to look like. We're not sure exactly what happens with phase three. I mean, there's a bit of alpha out on the big characters, but still, I mean, it's not concrete. It's not 100%. Like I just think that's what adds part of the fun of the community, though. Like it's this big mystery, right? Like this big lore and brick by brick, and this leads to that, and hold on to this because it might do something later, and it's just cool to keep everybody engaged, and really add some extra utility to the things that you have because down the line it leads to something else. And I love that about what he's created here.
Yeah. And I think like, and I talked about this in some previous episodes as well. I think like really we're getting to a point with NFTs where people want to use what they have in their wallet, right? Like it actually means more to you, and you're way more incentivized to hold it when you feel like you're using it for something or that you're getting that value out of it, right? Like, so the fact that we don't know if these things are going to change or what's going to happen, right? Like that's exciting. So I feel like we're using these almost as game pieces, and we're like kind of playing this game, and we're waiting to see what's around the next corner, and that's exciting to me. And it's something new that I haven't really done in this space, right? Like usually it's like either this is an art project and you're minting it and you just want to buy it because you like the art, or it's some NFT that claims to have a ton of utility and this like big crazy long roadmap that almost never gets delivered on. But this is really something different, right? This is like, hey, this is what we have right now. This is the utility that it has right now, and we're seeing, we're not lying. We're seeing what's happening every day. People are like winning stuff, and we're seeing a huge advantage of the kind of like knowledge being shared as for the holders and in Discord. And then like there's still this mysterious like where is it going to lead? And I think that's what keeps people like, oh, I'm going to hold this thing because who knows like what's around the corner, right? So I think that's really cool, and it keeps my interest. So I imagine that's probably why a lot of people are sticking around and really curious to see where this goes. Because honestly, like in this market right now, this was a free mint, right? Like it was free. Obviously, we had like a whitelist that people were able to win weeks leading up, but it was a free mint. It cost me like $6 to mint or something, and like the fact that you can turn around and sell it for like $600 right now, it's crazy to think that there's barely any listed and like no one's taking offers and like barely anyone's listing, right? Like that's in this market right now, that's unheard of.
Oh, absolutely. And again, I think it just speaks volumes to the community. I think everybody really enjoys hanging out with each other, and there's always something cool going on. It's like Easter eggs all the time, right? Like we think we know what's going on, and then boom, tomorrow there's something else. And I think, like you just touched on, that's big for community engagement. A lot of projects, they put something out and then it's weeks, months, whatever, until you get something new. And this is more like hours, maybe days before we get something new. And I think that speed and that consistency really, it just grabs people's attention. And like you said, everybody's getting liquid right now. There's a lot of coins pumping right now, and the fact that we haven't had bears dumped on the floor at, or taking WETH offers or anything like that is incredible. And everyone's so excited for the next mint coming up. I don't think anybody was ready to have their metadata changed and be able to name their bear and give it its own description. And it just speaks volumes to what he's doing. He's doing things really different out of the box, and as fast as I've seen, most projects do things. So it's just fun, dude. Like you said, it's exciting as DAO to do all this. So I love it.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like, for the guys like you and some of the other people on the DAO One team who are really like driving the spaces conversations and that, it's cool to see us getting in with a lot of other really cool communities. We've jumped on with Gemscope a bunch of times, and it's just cool to see people wanting to have us there and inviting us in, and then people us being able to bring people on board when we're doing spaces and stuff like that. And so on that note, I think we have some spaces coming up, right? What do we have going on?
We do. We've got one. Um, Shoot, I believe we have one tomorrow. Actually, I think we have one in the morning tomorrow. And then every Tuesday, we're gonna do spaces. We're just gonna do a Bear and Bull space straight up Tuesday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're just gonna keep that going until the wheels fall off, because everyone has so much fun with it. And it gives us a good opportunity to bring community members up and hear from them, or people like Lady Boss who came in, or Space Chick Crypto who come in and hear us for the first time, and then they just really enjoy it and want to come back and do more spaces, or bring us on to Space Chick Crypto's AMA. So I like the spaces because it creates so many opportunities for us to create connections. So we're going to try to do them as often as we can. It's more so right now about figuring out a schedule that we can work with the people on the other side of the world, because a lot of us are from the U.S. So we're currently just trying to work on a schedule that works for kind of everybody on the other side.
Yeah, man, I'm having trouble. Just we were setting up the time zone for this, and my math wasn't so good. I'm out here kind of like close to Toronto, so I'm Eastern time. So 9 o'clock is money for me. That's a good time. Tuesday at 9, love it, right? But obviously, if you're in like Australia or something, who knows? It's like wake up in the middle of the night and jump on spaces. Like, it's a little unreasonable, right? So I think it's cool, and that just shows how much we care, right? Like, there's so many projects that don't think about that, and like, this is a worldwide community, right? Web3 and in our project as well. And it's just like, we're trying to take that into consideration. We've had people speak up and voice their opinion of, hey, I live here, I live there, and like trying to make that work. But it's gonna be good to get something kind of consistent, and obviously people can expect it. And I've been in other projects where they have like those kind of set times once or twice a week for spaces, and it's just a good vibe, right? And it's like anything else you do in your life. You get excited knowing that like Tuesday's rolling around and you're gonna have that Bear and Bull space, right? Like, so just something to look forward to. And not doing them in the middle of the day is something I'm super happy about, because there's so many space, like there's lots of awesome spaces, but people do them at like noon on a Tuesday, and like most people are at work, right? So it's a little hard to jump on. So I'm happy we've kind of made it accessible so that everybody can get in there, and jumping off other communities. And we've just done some impromptu ones before. Like, I've Crypto's just jumped in chat and been like, "Okay, we're running a spaces. Like, who can do it? Like, and just throw it together." And that's exciting too, right? And that's usually when we've done like some crazy giveaways and stuff too, just to see like who's quote unquote active right now, right? So and we've done stuff like that in Discord and that too. So just trying to give an idea for non-holders, like some of the benefits is like there's a lot of really cool stuff. Like, we just had a bunch of a bunch of alpha channels added, right? Some alpha tools in there now too. So if you're a gambling man or woman and you want to go and check out some of these NFT projects and tokens and stuff like that too, then we're getting some pretty solid calls. I haven't jumped in on much of them because I've been pretty busy in real life, but there's been some. I kept an eye on a few of them and they've panned out pretty well. So it's just cool to have that as an added benefit for something to check out if you got a little bit of ETH in your wallet and you feel like gambling on a Friday night or whatever.
Yeah. Again, I think it just adds to the utility for the community to have, people that can do alpha calls and spaces. We have a lot of graphic designers, media, like, people that do stuff with media and create content. It's just cool, man. And my favorite way to onboard people into projects is through spaces. I think you get to hear from the community, you get to hear from the team, sometimes the founder, not ours, of course, but and I think that's the best vibe you can get. Discord's fun, and I love all that, but I really think hearing people's voices and hearing that genuine passion and drive and want to do something is huge, and I think that just hits a little different for people that are seriously looking at investing something that you know off secondary could cost you $600-700. So it's I just think it's cool that we have such a variety of skills on the team to really handle all the bases.
Yeah. Yeah, and our silent founder that I think we're all kind of like secretly trying to figure out like who is Crypto Equip, right? So we've got some guesses out there. I thought he was Mr. Beast for a while because he's like the Mr. Beast of crypto. We're talking about John Cena. I think somebody thought he was like Morgan Freeman the other day. Like we're throwing out all these crazy ideas. We got to get this guy on a Spaces. Like we got to get him like a Darth Vader voice changer or something. Just get him up there. I want to hear straight from the man himself. Maybe one day we'll figure something out. We'll have to do like one of those like when you're on TV and they have them like in the dark and they have the voice changer, and he's like witness protection voice on a Spaces. I think that'd be fucking hilarious too. People would die. But he's obviously this man does not sleep. Like there's always some new piece of alpha he's dropping or something going on. It's crazy, man. Like people don't realize like, the amount of work that he's putting in, and he still runs his actual account on Twitter and has a whole separate kind of thing going on there that has nothing to do with the project as well, right? Like so it's just really putting in the work in the space. And I actually would hesitate to call him an influencer because he's I haven't really seen anything influency about the way he works, but that's what he best compares to. And it's like I've never seen someone just be so genuine and just so involved and always trying to even just get us hyped up about the project and what's coming next. And I feel like every night there's like some new thing popping off in here, and it's just really it's exciting to see. And I've never been on a team before, so being on the inside has been just a cool kind of look behind the curtain of seeing that stuff ahead of time and getting a chance to kind of talk about it and have some input, and then pushing it out to the community. And the community is amazing, right? Like shout out to the community. People just get hyped. People are retweeting. People are replying, commenting. People are going crazy in Discord. Like we just have the best community, and everybody's like super supportive. And that's just been so refreshing, right? Versus the space, the space overall in the NFT space has been weird. It's been a weird few months, right? And everything we see people that get behind a new project for 48 hours and then that's all you really see of it. But to see a community that's just been here for months, with the same awesome energy, everybody pulling in the same direction, like it's just a good vibe to be part of. And it definitely it's a bright spot in Web3 for me right now.
Well, and that's such a blessing, man. Like I'm so glad this is like the first like team experience you get, and you got such a dream team to be with. As someone who's had another team, man, and worked with another artist and stuff, like this is amazing. Like I can't say enough about my business partner Rachel that I had before. Like she was incredible. She is incredible. I still talk to her all the time. But the other one, it was nothing like this. This is such a family vibe. I don't feel like anybody's my boss. I don't feel like anyone's telling me what to do. And even the community, like I've had a community of my own once, and it was good. But this is next level, man. We've got some very talented, very driven, very Just passionate people, that really want to see the project move forward, and they take a lot of time and effort out of their own day to make content for us, and they're not getting paid to make it. They're not getting anything other, than the satisfaction of knowing that the project's getting pushed and they're part of it. And I just think that's, again, speaks volumes. You get into some projects and really the only people putting out content are the people on the team. And this is not like that. There are things that the community are putting out that I could never touch, like it's just wild. And yeah, it's just been a lot of fun.
Yeah, man, for sure. And there's another opportunity to kind of get in the community with May 4th. We have the bowl mint coming up, and like I think we're saying it's going to be not a free mint, but it's going to be like literally $10 in ETH. So pretty much a free mint, really, super cheap. Um, Another opportunity for folks that are listening who maybe didn't get in the first round there and don't have the funds to buy off secondary. This is going to be an opportunity to become part of the project. And the crazy thing is, this time around we have some bounties where we're going to be able to. I think there's a zero point 0.5 ETH bounty, and there's also like a 0.25, and then I think some 0.1s. So there's actually be some prizes based on what you mint after the reveal. So that's kind of exciting and a whole new layer to add, right? So now not only am I going to be stoked to see, hopefully I can get one of these, and hopefully it's got some art that I vibe with, but also like it'd be crazy to like mint something for $10 and end up with like 0.5 ETH out of it. Like that's just like a cool, that gets you excited, right? Just the idea of that. And you think about like buying a lottery ticket every week or whatever, thousands and millions of people are doing that, but like 333, like your chances are so like good that you could win this stuff. And it's like every time that we do those draws, for holders too, it's like, oh, I'm just waiting. I know my number's going to show up. Lucky number 21. That's my bear, right? I'm like just waiting, like, come on, man. I feel it. I feel it. But it's just exciting, right? And it's cool. And it's like just a benefit of holding. And we've seen, like, I think we gave away a Valhalla today or yesterday. It was like worth like 0.6 or something crazy like that just for holding. Like that's fucking crazy. Like, to me at least.
Oh, me too, brother. Well, that's what I mean. I think being able to come in from the outside, and it being a public mint and paying $10 to get into this thing and potentially winning zero point 0.5 ETH, like that's wild. Like where else are you doing that? And then we did, or the 0.25, sorry, and then like with even like the digipasses, those things were like $2 plus gas, and it got you into a drawing for 3.11 ETH. Like that's huge. Like I don't, and I can only imagine what's gonna come. Like if that's the first drawing, like you kind of know how he does. He always does stuff bigger, and I can only imagine what it's gonna get you down the line. And that's, again, everything comes with so much utility. Even just the alpha pass gets you the free mint in July if you hold the original mint. Like it's just, the list of utilities go on and on.
Yeah. Yeah. The gateway pass was, I was like, man, I was like, please, if you're out there, God, I want to win this 3 ETH. Like that was so sick. I was like waiting, like I got 10 of those things. Right. And like, I was just pulling up some stuff here while we're talking, and like, the gateway passes, they're still cheap. So if you didn't mint one, like this would be a great way into the community. And they're like 0.016 right now. So that's pretty cheap. Like it's like $30 or whatever, I think. And there's only 35 listed. There's 1,000 of these things minted. We didn't have a cap on them originally. It was just a time limit, right? And out of 1,000, like that's the hold rate. Like people don't realize, like if you've been in this space for a little while, you're not used to seeing 3% listed, 7% listed, like these tiny like single digit listings, especially on a small collection, right? Like we're talking about like 10,000 piece collections. You see like 20% listed, and like so this could be the one that you get in here and you join the community and you vibe out and you find some alpha, maybe you win some stuff, but like this could be the one that people will be saying that, oh man, I wish I jumped in. I kept seeing those bear and bull guys around, and it's a year later, and our community's huge, and these will be impossible to get. They almost already are, right? Which is kind of crazy.
Well, yeah, I think that's the coolest thing about the Alpha Pass, right? As we had people get them, and like a few people listed early, and then we saw comments and like posts of like, "Oh man, I wish I still had my pass." Like, And it's real, man. Like there's just so much coming to the community with the music videos, the songs, the bit characters. I don't know, man. I would be upset if I was missing the ride. You know, if I was on the outside looking in, I would be like, damn, like I wish I was in that. I wish I was doing all that cool stuff. So I totally get it. Like we've already seen it a few times where people are like, "Ah, shit, can I buy my pass back?"
And it's really the tip of the iceberg. Like, obviously we can't share what we're seeing as being on the team here and getting some inside looks at what's going on in the mind of Mr. Crypto Equip, but like, there's other things at work here. You're just seeing, a very small percentage of what's going on, and it's going to be crazy when we start to reveal some of the things that we've seen or that we've talked about, and that he talked about. He was talking about some stuff the other day that we were all kind of getting nostalgic about, I'll say. And I think there's a lot of people that are going to really love some of the things we have coming up, but obviously tight-lipped on that because you know Crypto Equip is a super nice guy, but he runs a tight ship, so you gotta make sure you're keeping the mystery. He's a man of mystery, and that's how we run the project. We want everyone to have that surprise and delight moment. I think sometimes projects are so worried about hype that they give away so much so early, right? And I've genuinely been excited for everything that we've had come out, and the community's genuinely not seen it coming every time, right? And that's cool. Like I said, I think it is kind of like this mystery game that you're playing as part of this community.
Yeah, and like I said before, I think he's done a really good job keeping it fun for us too. You know, like he could come in and just tell us everything that's going on, and drop all the alpha at once, and he just never does that. He's just wants us to have a good time with it, and keep that same kind of mystery to it, and I really appreciate that about it. Just like today in the gym scope space, I had no idea holding a bear and gateway pass or bull and gateway pass got you into the bear versus bull for Bowery and Bully. I had no idea that did that. He told me that during the space, so there's just always something coming, man. It's almost hard to keep up.
That's cool, man. I think that's probably the the most we can update on so far as things we're allowed to speak about. But we're excited. We got, like I said, the Bull Mint coming up May 4th. And then over the summer, we're going to see, phase 2. And then phase 3's, we're talking about 2024. So this man is building way ahead of time. This man has some real plans in the works here, right? Like, to actually be confident enough to have these phases out in public and have some timelines attached to them, that's pretty refreshing to see, right? We've seen a lot of projects that come out and they have these roadmaps and they don't really have any dates attached to them or too many details. But I'm excited. Like, it feels like every few weeks, every few months, there's going to be something new, right? And then who knows? We don't know if Mr. Crypto Equip's going to say, "All right, surprise, surprise, phase 2.5 is happening," and something crazy happens, right? So I think it's going to be an exciting ride. I've really enjoyed it so far. I've enjoyed, getting to know everyone in DAO one. And for people that are listening that are, like I said, in the project, not in the project, you're curious, if you see who's in DAO one, you probably want to follow them, right? Like, do you want to follow, Tuck underscore NFT on Twitter? That's Mr. Tuck's uh, Twitter account, and the rest of the folks in DAO one, because we might be dropping little hints here and there that you might catch early, before they hit kind of the mainstream. So that's one piece of alpha for you, is definitely keep an eye on the counts of the folks that are in that group. But yeah, man. So I really appreciate you taking the time and making this work, so we could have this conversation, and hopefully this gave people a little bit of insight around what's going on with the project, what the project's all about, maybe a little bit about Crypto Equip, because I can imagine if you're someone coming in and you haven't really had too much exposure, like, kind of, what's this guy's deal? Are these giveaways real? What's going on? Like, so I think hopefully give people a bit of an idea of kind of the kind of character that we have running the show here, and the kind of commitment from everyone on the team, from our artists to the DAO one to the community, right up to crypto. And so I'm super bullish. I'm super excited to see where we go, and hopefully we'll have you back on, and maybe some other folks as well from the team, and we can do some updates regularly as things come out and as we evolve as a project.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'd love to come back anytime. I love doing these podcasts. I love that, there's people out there trying to get information out to the community if they can't make spaces or, whatever it is. It's always nice to have some recordings and, different perspectives and things. Yeah, like you said, dude, I'm just excited. I think this thing is going to be absolutely massive. I think the amount of stuff we have coming out is next level, especially in kind of a weird market, always building, always not even paying attention to the market really, right? Just kind of full steam ahead doing the thing. And like you touched on, there's always a chance at like a 2.5 or whatever it is, right? Because we have like the bits in June. There's just there's always things going on. So, like Goof said, make sure you guys are following the DAO members, you guys are following crypto, the Bear and Bull page, tapping in with the podcast, the spaces, just, staying up to date because there is a lot of stuff going on and you don't want to get left behind. You don't want to get lost because there's a lot of opportunity here to A, have a lot of fun, but B, win a lot of cool stuff and meet an amazing community. So, again, brother, I appreciate you having us here today and like just creating that space for people to come and get some knowledge and education and just kind of feel the vibe.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you making the time, and I think we'll leave it at that. Bear and Bull. Anyone listening who hasn't checked it out, definitely go check out. The Bear and Bull NFT.com has detail in even more detail than we talked about here of kind of what the project looks like and how it's laid out, and get a look at the art. And yeah, man, I'm hyped, and I hope everyone that joined us today listening to this is hyped. And I bet you we're gonna start to see some more snipes on secondary now after this podcast comes out. So get some new members of the community for sure. But with that said, man, appreciate you, and we'll definitely catch you next time.